Dear friends in Jesus Christ, in today's gospel we see that the two disciples were walking towards Emmaus, and as they were walking they were sharing about what was happening in at that moment, the death of Jesus Christ, how the Romans crucified him. So they were deeply depressed, afflicted by that because their master died. And then they began to share between each other about that experience, the difficult experience, the death of their hearts, how they feel sorrow, suffering of their only master death. So then, as they were walking, so Jesus is appearing to them as a stranger, not knowing what was happening there in Jerusalem. That way, he was appearing to them, and they began to explain to them. They began to explain to him, don't you know what is happening here in Jerusalem? We are talking about the death of Jesus Christ. And then he began to tell them from Moses to throughout the prophets about himself. And then their hearts were like slowly began to calm down and experience the peace with the light of the word which came through from his mouth, because they were totally depressed because of his death. And then his words were enlightening them, and then in a way satisfying them and giving them peace of mind. So once they reached their place, their destination, and Jesus was showing them as if he was going a little further. And then what they did, they called him for supper, and while they were having supper, he began to break the bread. There their eyes were opened, and then they recognized Jesus. So dear friends, in our lives, like these disciples on their way to Emmaus, they experienced something, a peace of mind, when they heard the word of God. When they heard the word of God from the mouth of Jesus, their only master, but they were not aware until he broke the bread. So in our lives we may have doubts, afflictions, and so many these things that may arise in our lives. And in that midst, so like these disciples, how the breaking of bread gave life to them. So in our lives, the breaking of bread, the Eucharist, gives life, dear friends. It gives life, and it gives faith to us. It strengthens our faith. It is our only hope that Christ is risen and Christ will come again, and Christ is moving with us, walking with us, and he is giving the word now and then, like those disciples received on their way to the Emmaus. So he is giving now and then the words. So we need to look into it and strengthen our faith and come to Jesus, and he will embrace us and he will never abandon us, dear friends. Thank you.